Welcome back, Fabrication Nation. I have a big day here in the shop. I'm going to do an update on the Chucky project and let you know where I'm at on that. After the Chucky project, I came to the realization that that is a big lathe to work with. And so I have a new acquisition to the shop, so I'm excited to get to that. I had to drive down to Kansas to pick it up, and to get it off the trailer, I can't do it alone. It weighs about 3,500 pounds. So I have the other Big Al with me here. I have my dad, Big Albert, with me here today to help me get it off the trailer. So this is my dad, Big Albert, and he's helped me a lot here in the shop and get everything set up. He's helped me get all the tools in place. And so anytime I need a hand, he drops by and he gives me a hand. Today he's gonna help me get our new equipment off the trailer, get it set in place. So just a quick update on the Chuck here. If you watch the Chucky series, you can see that I took this apart and cleaned it up and got it all put back together, and it was working fairly well. The only issue was that the jaws were a little tight, a little tighter than they should have been. And after I confirmed that with the viewers, I came back and I did some more polishing on the jaws. I pulled them out, I inspected them, I made sure that they were in the proper slot, and they were. All the numbers matched the jaws, so they were in place. What I quickly realized is that this Chuck is so massive, it's difficult to do small work with it. And when I closed the jaws completely up, I had about 1.5 inches. So what that told me was the smallest work you could do was 1.5 inches round stock. So I do have this 4-jaw Chuck, and I fit it up in here. And this is a common practice by machinists, that you get a smaller Chuck and you center it up, you indicate it, and then you're ready to go and you can do smaller work. But it could get old really fast if you have to do some small work. The other issue is that I only have a 4-jaw Chuck, and I would have to indicate this in as well as indicate in the big Chuck. So I would have to indicate twice. I'd have to indicate the Chuck inside of the jaws of the big Chuck, and then I'd have to indicate the work inside of the jaws of the small Chuck, and that's no fun. So I quickly realized that I'm gonna have to get a smaller lathe in the shop if I want to be very productive and efficient. If you remember last time how tight these jaws were, like I said, I pulled them out. I did some more polishing on the ways, on the guide ways. Now they're working exactly how I expected them to. One thing I also noticed is that with this impact gun here, whenever it's spinning, it actually looks like it's working a lot harder than it is. And so on camera, it can be a little bit deceiving. So now I'll show you how freely these jaws move back and forth. Okay, now the real test is, do they move by hand? And so I'll show you that as well. So you can see very little effort to move this by hand, and that's about what you want from this. So there it is. I'm really happy with the Chuck. Just a little bit more touch-up work with it, and it's ready to go. I have the small 4-jaw in there if I ever get into a tight situation. I don't think I'm going to need it, and I'm excited to show you why.
right over the axle or just right in front of us?
We'll go right, just slightly in front of the back axle.
Most of your weight's right here in front.
Okay, yeah, that'll be good.
Right in there?
Yep.
Center.
So like I said, I had to drive down to Kansas to pick her up. It was about a 2.5 hour drive, but well worth it. And here she is. If you're wondering what it is, it's a Monarch 12 CK. And I think I'll call her Princess Mona. Okay, we're all set up here. Again, like last time, like I did with the big Monarch, I'm going to use my gantry hoist. I'm going to back the trailer in. I'm going to use a chain to lift the lathe with, make sure it's level, and then pull out from under it. Hopefully this time my camera doesn't malfunction on me and I get the full operation. So another shot of my hoist here. I've got about a 15-foot span. About 10 feet of clearance through the middle, minus the space that the legs take up. There it is. It's currently suspended in the air. You can see we got about 6 inches of clearance off the trailer. And I typically like to let things just kind of sit here and float for a minute. Make sure nothing's gonna come crashing down. I don't get any surprises. I'll let it sit here and float, and then once I feel comfortable, I'll go ahead and pull out from under it. Worst case scenario right now, if something was to happen, the lathe would fall on the trailer and not about 4 feet down to the ground. But it looks like it's doing well. I don't have any worries at all. Like I said, I lifted the big Monarch with it over here. That one weighs about 6,000 pounds, and the hoist handled that one just fine. This one weighs about 3,500 pounds, so definitely no sweat for this hoist.
Ready?
Yep. All right, here we go again, round 2. All right, we're good. We got it suspended. So check this thing out, suspended about 4 feet off the ground. Looks pretty wild. It's about 3,500 pounds just sitting there floating. This thing is perfectly balanced. You can see this hoist is, it's made for this kind of work. It's not, there's no strain on this hoist at all. So there they are, match set, mom and daughter. So this is a Monarch CK12. It's got a 14.5 swing, 30-inch centers, and it was manufactured in 1943. So if we go over to mom over here, 18-inch CBB, 20.5-inch swing, 120 between centers, and manufactured in 1945. So this one we'll call Queen Monarchy, and the baby Monarch will be Princess Mona. I was real excited to get this thing sitting in front of the other one and see them side by side. You can see the big Monarch there is about 3 times as large as this as the CK12. This one came with a 3-jaw chuck, a 4-jaw chuck, and a steady rest. I don't have a tool post for it, so I'll be looking for one of those. And you can see here that I can do much smaller work with this. I have about a 1/2 inch hole through here. I should be able to turn anything 1/2 inch and above. I really got a sweet deal on this lathe. The shop that I got it from, they just needed it out of the way. And I probably couldn't have bought a 3-jaw chuck for Queen Monarchy for what I paid for this. So this is a win-win deal. I don't know if you can see here on camera, but the paint job looks pretty rough. There's lots of chips and it's real rough looking, and it looks like it may have been repainted at some time. So I have a big flake missing right here, and it's all the same color, which is an indication that it's been repainted. Another thing that I'm going to start working right away is this plate. Having a plate up here is really useful, but this one's beat up pretty bad, so I'm going to take it off and rework it and get it all straightened up. So this model has a switch up top here, and this looks like where you would reverse the spindle, and this is also where the power comes in, right back here. So I've got a Queen Monarchy hooked up and my box is right here, so I'm hoping that I got enough cord here. I may be able to go ahead and get this one hooked up and give it a test run. All right, we got it all wired up here. My cord did reach, so we got lucky there. But I just got this temporarily wired in right now. I just want to make sure that it's running, give it a test run, and then I'm going to disconnect it because this isn't real safe, but it's good for just a test run. I'll let it run for just a second, make sure everything sounds good. Got our motor down below. That's a 5 horsepower motor, and it is 3-phase. I got this handle hanging off, but it is in gear. I'm working on it, but I do have it in the proper gear. Okay, I'm ready to test it out. We'll engage the clutch and see how she runs. All right, runs good. Let's check reverse. We'll let the motor wind down completely, and then we'll reverse it. Okay. Now we'll engage the clutch again. And reverse is working. All right, now that we know that this thing is running, I'm gonna run it through a couple of the gears here just to make sure that all the gears are functioning properly. And I'm not gonna get too crazy. I don't wanna break nothing, but I just wanna make sure everything's working properly. And then I can continue to get it cleaned up before I start running it too hard. All right, so my first setting here, is a spindle speed of 53, so we're going to give that a shot, and then we'll just keep getting higher until we max out at 1,000. This machine maxes out at 1,000. One thing I do notice about this machine right off the bat is if I go all the way down on the clutch, I hear clicking. So if you can hear that. There's a clicking noise when the clutch is fully engaged, but if I just lift on the clutch just slightly, that clicking will go away. So I don't quite know what that is. I'll have to open it up and see why it's doing that. Maybe something needs to be adjusted, I'm not sure. But whenever I raise the clutch up, when I raise the clutch handle up just a little bit, it sounds perfectly fine. If you go around to the back end, you can see the linkage right here, and here's where the clutch engages. And there's no adjustment here. This is pinned in. You can grease the bearing here, but there is no adjustment on this linkage. But there is adjustment on the clutch. I haven't done that yet, but there is a procedure to make adjustments to your clutch. From the research that I've done, you can adjust your clutch and the clutch tension. That may be one of the things that I tackle for preventative maintenance on this machine. All right, 53 is working very nice. Now we're going to go up to 140. Now when we stop this, we want to pay attention to the lag. That will tell us if our brake needs maintenance or not. So that was a very good brake. So that tells me that the braking function is working properly. All right, we're engaged for 140. All right, looking good there. Good brake. Okay, this is 377. It's a nice quiet machine. Okay, we're maxed out at 1,000. Took a little bit more time to break that, but not too bad. Let's give it another shot. That clutch handle feels really good. It doesn't take much pressure to get that to break at all. The only thing is fully engagement. Might have to look at something there, but when I pull up, I just barely pull up on it and it breaks, and that's I think that's what you want. Let's drop it back down, and then we'll test out the carriage, the half nut, and the auto feed. All right, we are down to 53. Gauge the clutch. Now let's test out the rest of these controls. It took me a minute to figure out why the drive shaft wasn't spinning, and we've got this handle here. So this will actually reverse, forward, and reverse your travel. Right now we have it in the neutral, and when I was working over here on the handles, I was moving this handle back and forth. This is the handle that engages your feed, and it just switches your lead screw feed down to this shaft down here so that it can feed your carriage. So we're in the neutral position, and when we push down, you can see the shaft is engaged, and that should put us in the forward position. So we'll go ahead and test this handle out here. And you can see that's moving along very nicely. And we'll put it in the neutral. It has stopped, and we'll now reverse. All right, great, working really good. We'll go ahead and stop. Put it back in neutral. We'll go in the forward position. And now let's test out the cross slide. Works good. This handle's a little tight. This may need some adjustment. Let's put it in neutral. Okay. And we'll reverse it. This handle's got a lot of slop in it, and I'm going to have to adjust this. If you watch my previous Monarch revival video, you'll see what kind of trouble you can get into if you've got a sloppy handle. So I don't want to leave that alone too long. So let's go ahead and reverse it. And cross slide's moving. Oh, very good. Very nice. Let's go back in neutral, and then over here this will change from this bottom shaft to this drive screw up top. So let's go ahead and switch that over. Alright, and that should engage our drive screw. So we'll go in the forward position, and there it is. Alright, now you can see our thread dial here is spinning. This is a this thread dial is built into the apron here, so that's kind of unique. And we've got the half nut right here. So let's engage the half nut and see how that works. So it looks like we're having a little bit of problem with the half nut. It engages, as you can see there, but I have to hold it. It doesn't stay engaged, and I have to put a lot of pressure on it for it to actually engage. So there it is, engaged. As soon as I let go, it stops. Let's try reverse. Got it in reverse. Engage. See, there's something going on there. That's too much pressure. There, it's engaged now. As soon as I let go though, it stops. So I don't know what's going on there. Maybe there's an adjustment or something that needs to be made. Hopefully that's all it is. But it seems to be functioning properly. It just doesn't stay engaged. Okay, so there's an area I need to investigate. Other than that, it looks like everything else is functioning as it should be. So that was a good small test run. I don't want to get too crazy with it before I get too crazy and running it through everything. I'd like to clean her up, get everything oiled and then lubricated, and also change out the oil in the headstock if I can. So you just never know what a machine's been through, what kind of life it's had previous, and you just want to make sure that you can do everything possible before you really start running this thing through. To make sure it's completely fully functional. All right, well that's the Princess Mona Revival. I hope you liked it, and please share, subscribe, and leave your comments. I'd like any information you have on this machine. I don't know a whole lot about it, but I know these things are a workhorse. I'm really happy with it, and I just can't wait to start cutting chips. Thanks for watching, Fabrication Nation.